Chapter 14. The messenger Malachi Zadok and the 144,000 are on Mount Zion. The 144,000, the elite few. And I, John, son of Zebedee and Salome, looked and beheld a lamb, the messenger Malachi Zadok, standing on the mountain Zion, not the Mount Zion of the Old Testament in which Solomon, son of David and Bathsheba, later built the temple of Eli on, but the new Jerusalem which will come down from the Orion skies of the elevated place, a new city of peace, and with him were 144,000 purified ones, having his adopted father's name written upon their foreheads from prostration and salut, worship, and the personalities of the 12 tribes of Israel. The 144,000 will consist of 12,000 of each of the 12 tribes, equaling 144,000. And I heard the messenger Malachi Zadok from the Orion skies, as the voice of many waters, as the sound of great thunder. He had a powerful voice sending a mighty message. When the messenger Malachi Zadok talks, people will fear and listen. Not just because of the power of his voice, but also because of the intensity of the message. It will reach around the world, no one will escape it, for everyone will have to bear witness to the truth. And the voice which I heard was as the sound of harps, which were odes and lyres, singing praise, the same instruments that David, son of Jesse and Helmah, played, being played by harpers. These were the 24 elders, Elohim. And the elders sung as if it were a new song. This was the chanting of the true portions of El's Quran, called a new song because they already chanted El's Torah, before the Eli's seat, and before the 4 living creatures symbolic of the spirits of the 4 world empires and their principal rulers that have prevailed upon earth from the beginning to the end of time, also being representative of the 4 species of cherubim. Babylon being Gul, Greece being Marid, Rome being Ifrit, and America plus Europe being Shaitan. And the elders, and no one could speak, learn, that song, except the 144,000, which were reclaimed from the planet Earth after the 144,000 are raised in the year 2030 AD. These are they, the 144,000 children of the Holy Tabernacle Ministries, who did not become impure with the confidant wives of New Babylon, the harlot of America. They did not taste the fornications of the harlot. They will not be subjected to the ways of the evil reptilian because they are virgins. These 144,000 are the ones who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. When he returns, they will be totally loyal and true to the Messiah Jesus' teachings. These are they who were reclaimed from the human nation of people. They are the firstlings from Theos and for the Lamb. They will be the first to be taken up, and then all others who have been faithful to Theos and the Lamb and have sacrificed so that the 144,000 could be raised. The fact that the 144,000 are called firstlings also relates to them being called virgins. On the last day, the planet Earth will experience a severe earthquake which will cause the mountains to crumble and the dust to be settled. People will emerge in groups of 3 categories. 1. The 144,000, who are not touched by the harlot nor do they have guile in their mouths. These are those of the 144,000 who have kept themselves pure of mind, body, and spirit. They are virgins because they have not become defiled by the harlot, which is representative of the physical world. 2. The true followers of the Messiah Jesus. These are the Holy Tabernacle Ministries. This includes those who have suffered for righteousness' sake and have resurrected themselves from a state of unrighteousness to a state of purity. Once the 144,000 have been raised, the faithful aiders of the Most High from around the world will take place. This group of people are the members of the Holy Tabernacle Ministries who have once lived in the lifestyle of the evil reptilian but have been taught the truth about themselves and are ready to regain the godlike quality that they were born with. And 3. The followers of the evil reptilian. And there was not found any lies in their mouths. They will only speak what they know, which is the truth, because they do not have any faults. They are the sons and daughters of the Elohim, before the seat of Eli. And I, John, son of Zebedee and Salome, saw another Anunnaki Elohim named Nusk, Gabriel Zadok, son of Raziel and Zamel, fly in the midst of the skies, which is the location of the Kaaba and the scroll with all the scriptures in one, called the Mother of the Scripture, having everlasting Injiyl, the book of Revelation, in order to inform all those who are dwelling on the planet Earth, and to every nation of people and kindred, and tongue, and tribe. Coming to you down from the sky is Gabriel, the angelic messenger, giving the revelation to Michael, the angel of justice from Mount Paran. He is not only bringing you a perfect translation of El's Quran from pure Ashuric Syriac, Arabic, but also the translation of the Torah from Aramaic, Hebrew, and now the Injiyl, the book of Revelation, from the Greek. He gave you the book of lambs, the holy tablets as Malachi, or the Malach angel messenger. Yes, for those who want to know, this is that book. Gabriel is always the messenger. Russell, he is the one who brought down the message. Quran 297 original order, El's Holy Quran 8797, that inspires and reveals or gives the revelation. and as the final messenger not final prophet Nabi of which Muhammad was, and not the final prophet of prophecy Nubuwwah which the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, 1895 to 1975 AD, was, who according to the book of Malachi 4 verse 5, Behold I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahuwah. And Melchizedek is a Yahuwah that was sent to us, right here in person today. Inspires is found in the altered version of the Quran at 4 to 163, and correctly revealed in our version of the Els Quran at 74 to 163. Reveals is found in the altered version of the Quran at 241, correctly revealed in our translation of Els Quran at 8741. Gives is found in the altered version of the Quran at 5152, and correctly revealed in our version of Els Quran at 1052. So, Gabriel revealed the perfect clear translation of the Injiyl book of Revelation to Malachi to give to you, called Els Injiyl. Quran altered revealed 365, original order Els Holy Quran 7365. Gabriel made clear the translation of the Torah as Els Holy Torah to Malachi, and Gabriel helped to inspire the holy tablets to Malachi, the everlasting gospel being complete with all of the scriptures being brought into one called the Al-Kitab. Quran 3 to 7 original order Els Holy Quran correctly revealed 89 to 7, which was never done before by any of the Nubian leaders, and never could have been done before. So Revelation 14:6 tells you that Gabriel is going to come out of the sky and bring you an everlasting gospel. This is being done through Gabriel's accompanying angelic friend. According to the Quran 298, original order Els Holy Quran 8798 it is Michael. So, it is this same Michael or Malachi Zodok whom you refer to as Dr. Malachi Z. York, who was raised up amongst you to whom Allah has revealed this special knowledge to whom he does as he please. Quran altered revealed 2 to 269. Quran correctly revealed 87 to 269. To give you the Baina, Quran altered revealed 2 to 159. Quran correctly revealed 87 to 159. And the Furqan, Quran altered revealed 829. Quran correctly revealed 88:29, speaking to you in tongues, Acts 2:4, revealing in every language, translating all the scriptural languages word for word just for you. There is no way you can deny the coming of this supreme being in flesh for you before the end, making things plain as never before. Saying in a supreme voice, proclaiming out loud, fear the Theos, Eli, not the Messiah Jesus, and give glory to him Theos, not the Messiah Jesus as Christians do, for the hour of his judgment is come. Called the day of standing on to the day of judgment and end with the last day, when the book of life will be opened and you will be judged for your agreeable and disagreeable deeds. Those who stop now and resurrect mentally won't have to worry about dying, they will pass easily from the state of righteousness into eternal life. However, if you have to die first you will certainly taste hell. It is the day when all men will walk the Sirat, filament over hell, and is the day in which all people will be called to stand before the Most High, Anu, El Elo. This filament over hell is a bridge which appears to the faithful as a wide road, but to the coverer of truth, it is a filament as sharp as a razor. There are 365 paths within the main path called the Sirat. On this path you can see through the floor of the ships. You must stay on this path or you will be electrocuted. And worship to him who made the Orion skies and planet Earth, and the seas, and the fountains of waters, not the Messiah Jesus as the Christians do. Then another Anunnaki Elohim named Raphael, son of Wakabiel and Fikriel, followed him and came out in the middle of the skies after the Anunnaki Elohim Gabriel, Nusk, saying, Babylon is fallen. Yes, it has fallen, that great city. The time has come for the demise of New Babylon, the United States of America, the fourth empire of the devil, to come to an end like all others, because she, the harlot, the great city, the United States of America, has made all nations of people throughout the world drink of the intoxicant delicacies of the harlot and of the punishment of its fornications, meaning the lifestyle and ways of America. The world over has been seduced by the harlot. And the third messenger Raphael Zodok, son of Wakabiel and Fikriel, followed them, Malachi Zodok and Gabriel Zodok, saying with a big voice, if anyone worship the wild beast, the cursed seed of Labana, Canaan, and his image, wanting to be like him in every way, will receive his mark, the Canaanites, Amorites' approval, in his forehead or his hand, receiving money for betraying other Nubians. This is living in the image of the beast and not living in the image of your ancestors. The evil one has done a great job in making you hate yourself. Nubian people feel inferior to the Amorite, therefore, they hate themselves, trying to be them and live in the image of the beast by processing or pressing your hair, bleaching your skin and dyeing your hair, straightening your nose and thinning your lips, trying to talk and act like them, etc. The devil has cunningly seduced the Nubian man and woman into idolizing his image. You have been seduced into thinking that the blonde-hair, blue-eyed person is a superior race of beings. The Canaanite man is attempting to make you lose your heritage, just as Napoleon chopped off the noses of the statues in Kemet, Egypt, in order to hide the fact that they had Nubian features. In the schools they are deciding who's great and who's not. They are the ones who set up the classes and decided what courses that you are to take. They call these courses African Studies, when you learn very little about Africans and more about select American leaders of their choice. They already have their own leaders, and those are the faces that you see on money. You'll never see the face of a Nubian man or woman on money. The closest that they got to a Nubian on money was President Abraham Lincoln, 1809 to 1865 AD, who was a mulatto according to the 5 Negro Presidents by Ja Rogers on page 7, where a picture portrays Abraham Lincoln as a Nubian showing how he had woolly hair. So once again they are choosing who and what you learn about. They will teach you about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., George Washington Carver, Alex Haley, Booker T. Washington, Frederick Douglass, Nat Turner, Benjamin Banneker, Jean-Baptiste Point de Sable, Gustavus Vassa, Webb Du Bois, Eli Whitney, and Crispus Attucks, etc., people who they feel that you need to know about. They'll teach you about the Nubians that were fighting for them or who were working with them. Those are the ones that they like. But what about other leaders? They won't teach you about Noble Drew Ali or Marcus Garvey, or Khan Mansa Musa or the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or Clarence 13X Pudding, the Nubians who spoke out against them. No matter how intelligent they were or how much they were loved by Nubians or what they have contributed, they don't teach you about them. Recently college students have been allowed to read the autobiography of Malcolm X as a part of a course. They would love for you to read this book that was written by a Nubian who was considered an Uncle Tom by other Nubians like Alex Haley, who never lived in Harlem and was married to a Caucasian. Or they will let someone like Spike Lee make a movie on the life story of Malcolm X, who doesn't know anything about the times of Malcolm X because he wasn't there. Nor was he ever a member of the Nation of Islam or any other sect of Muslims. All he knows is what someone has told him and what he learned through books that were written with only the information that they wanted you to know about him, which would be that he was a radical, militant leader who believed in violence, who defected from the Nation of Islam and became a part of the Pale Arab movement. They don't point out that he changed his name from Malcolm X to Malik el-Shabazz. And the name Shabazz was introduced by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and is a name exclusively used by those devoted to him. If he didn't change the name Shabazz, he was still loyal in some way to the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad right up until his death. They don't want you to know about the love he had for his people. When they write books about him, they don't tell you of how he was telling his people to do for themselves or love and respect themselves. They publish quotes from his speeches like, "I don't believe we're going to overcome by singing. If you're going to get your 45 and start singing 'We shall overcome, I'm with you.' Or things like, 'By any means necessary,' or you have to walk in with a hand grenade and tell the man, 'Listen, you give us what we've got coming or nobody is going to get anything,' leaving you with the impression of some crazy, violent, criminal-minded man who was a menace to society, forgetting that he was an inspiration and learned all of this from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who reformed him from being a criminal product of society like many of the children are today, and more people like Honorable Elijah Muhammad are needed today because he was able to change such a man. They don't want Nubians, especially Nubian men, to be aware of the power that they once possessed. That is why I, Dr. Malachi Z. York, am here to make clear all things to you. Nubians have been reduced to less than nothing by the hands of the evil reptilian and his agents. Every time you hear of Nubians, you will always hear about the bad or disagreeable things that they want you to hear. You will never hear of the good that they did. They pry into lives and try to find out anything that will aid in their downfall. And if they cannot find anything, they will make up lies and fabricate stories. There is no more room for lies. Now is the time for right knowledge, right wisdom, and right understanding, which will breed sound right reasoning, new Wapu. It is no coincidence that many people have never heard of Noble Drew Ali, Chaka Zulu, Hannibal, Mahatma Gandhi or myself, Dr. Malachi Z. York, to name a few, in their role in history. Their accomplishments outshine the men whom the Amorites label heroes like Hercules, Zeus, John Wayne, Elvis Presley, Billy Graham and former General H. Norman Schwarzkopf. Right now in America, there is no black leadership. Since there is no leadership, there is no enemy for the common Caucasian to hate. There was a black awareness movement in the late 1960s and early 1970s. A movement that had Nubians searching to find their true selves. Some joined so-called militant groups such as the Black Panthers, the Young Lords, and the African Pioneer Movement, and they all gave European Caucasians a focal point to hate Nubian people, and someone to vamp down on, especially during the Black Revolution. Shouts of "Free Huey," "Free Angela," "Black and Proud," "Black Power," "Black is coming back," "Black is beautiful," "Black consciousness," and "Burn baby burn" could be heard throughout the globe by a people who were tired of the suppression that they had undergone for hundreds of years. Nubians were trying to get themselves together and find their true identity. However, when the Amorite began to realize that Nubians were waking up, he had to put a stop to it. So to stamp out the black awareness, he created movies with images in them like Shaft, Superfly, The Mac, and Cleopatra Jones, Cotton Comes to Harlem, Watermelon Man, JT's Revenge, Come Back Charleston Blue, Hero Ain't Nothing But a Sandwich, Cornbread, Earl, and Me, The Spook That Sat Behind the Door, 5 on the Black Hand Side, Sheba Baby, Coffee, Across 110th Street, Uptown Saturday Night, Blackula, Scream Blackula Scream, Car Wash, Superfly Goes to Africa, Let's Do It Again, Black Caesar. He purposely portrayed the Nubian man as the super pimp, a peddler of lust, material desire, money, drugs, violence and corruption. These movies helped to destroy and distort reality. Things that were happening during the black awareness movement, such as the afros and dashikis, became a passing fad. Nubians no longer wanted to go back to Africa, they straightened their hair and went to discos instead. When Muhammad Ali was known as Cassius Clay, all the Amorites loved him. But the moment he became a Muslim and changed his name to Muhammad Ali, they began to cause problems for him because of his religion. They do the same thing with Mike Tyson, now that he has become a Muslim. They will try to associate that with racism. However, Mike Tyson's adopted mother is a Caucasian, so it is very difficult for them to play the race card on him. In jail he had time to think. Now they are just waiting for the right moment to take him down again, which is religious discrimination. When it comes to crime, if a Muslim commits a crime, it is reported on the news as those Muslim terrorists. If a Tibetan commits a crime, it becomes those Buddhist monks. If it is a group that practices voodoo, it will be reported as the voodoo cult, yet, they don't say Jeffrey Dahmer, the Roman Catholic or Lutheran. When there was a Russian cannibal on the loose, they made sure you knew it with headlines, the Russian Nikolai Chumagaliev, called Metal Fang, who was a cannibal. They never address the subject of religion when it comes to a race other than Nubian. They never say Son of Sam, the Jebusite, who was a mass murderer. They never say Jack the Ripper, the Anglican or Donald Leroy Evans, the Protestant or Ted Bundy, the Southern Baptist, or that all Klan members subscribe to the Bible and church. Thus Klan members are Christians. Or when they have a lynching or castration of Nubians, they never say Christian Klan members, they don't even want to call them a cult. They avoid pointing out whether these Amorite serial killers were Christians or Jews. What religion was Susan Smith, the woman that drowned her 2 helpless toddlers? You don't know because they do not and will not bring it up. Everybody else's religion gets pointed out, but when it comes to them, they never put their religion in what they do. Even General Noriega, they made sure he was arrested in a Catholic church. They don't come on the news and say a Jew beats his daughter to death or some Catholics from Howard Beach killed some Baptist from Brooklyn or the Bronx. But if a Muslim does something, right away it's Muslim does so and so. If a Rastafarian does something, it's Rastafarian stuck up a bank. Banks are being robbed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Women are being raped every day and people are being murdered every day. They don't ever bring up what church they belong to, what congregation, and what reverend. They don't ever say, and one of Jerry Falwell's followers in New York just chopped a little kid up. But if one of Farrakhan's followers do something, they say, a black Muslim follower of Minister Louis Farrakhan just slapped a little kid in the head, and throws the book at them, and tries to give them life for it. This is double standards. You have every right to know their religion because whatever religion they were reared in, that is the religion that breeds that type of mentality. My point being, if the Jewish faith or the Christian faith is what these men and women grew up in, these are the kind of people, serial killers, they keep turning out, who are threats to society. This is something that they obviously want to hide and avoid talking about. When it comes to the destruction of a Nubian, they put all of their attention on things such as drug scandals, sex scandals, marital affairs, who their children are, what their children do, or simply their personal affairs that they may have been involved in. In most cases, the stories are exaggerated and made to look like something drastic, when in actuality they are all lies. However, when it comes to Amorites, everything is concentrated on their money. You should ask yourselves, why is that so? It's always a pleasure scandal with Nubians. Let me explain what I mean by this. When trying to destroy any Nubian, they sensationalize, and there is much propaganda on subjects such as sex, as in the case of singers Luther Vandross, Teddy Pendergrass, Whitney Houston, Vanessa Williams, and Michael Jackson, when a 13-year-old boy accused him of sexually molesting him. He faced both a civil suit and a criminal investigation. The matter was settled out of court and both parties agreed on the settlement. Yet, they are still exaggerating the story and trying mostly to discredit him and to make money off this case by selling newspapers, magazines, etc. However, when it came to the case of Pee Wee Herman, whose real name is Paul Rubin, a Jebusite, it was in court, over and forgotten about before you knew anything about it. Again, it's called pushing double standards. Another one of their favorite tactics is, the Amorite knows that in order to keep you in submission to him, you must not realize your royal descent. That's why he keeps inserting his image as superior. Therefore, you will look up to him and eventually you will worship him by trying to be, act, and look like him. That is why it is very important that you have the right images or pictures in your homes. From the beginning, the Amorite, Canaanite has been obsessed with being superior. One way to notice this is through his strongest tool called television, tell-lie-vision, to tell lies visually. You don't see many Nubians walking around calling themselves Superman, Superwoman, Supergirl, Superboy, Bionic Woman, Bionic Man, Tarzan, $6 Million Man, Wonder Woman, Indiana Jones, Spider-Man, James Bond or MacGyver, etc. And if they do, it is done in a form of jokes, to make them look like fools, as in the case of Meteor Man, Hundy Man, and the original Catwoman. These Amorite superheroes do things like dodge and outrun bullets or catch bullets with their teeth. They always catch the bad guys. They always deactivate bombs 3 seconds before it is going to blow. In other words, they do things that are almost impossible. If it's a choice of the Nubian or the Amorite getting killed, the Nubian is always the first choice. This is all put forth to subliminally suggest to you that you have to be an Amorite to be a success or to survive, and you are of no value and can be eliminated without no concern by any. Take for example figures of people like Jesus, the Pharaoh, Moses, Hannibal, Samson, Cleopatra, Solomon, and Abraham. When you hear these names, what is the first thing that comes to your minds? If you are honest, you will have to say that when you think of Moses, you think of Charlton Heston. When you think of Jesus, you think of the hippie-looking Amorite that used to hang on your grandmother's wall, or the actor Jeffrey Hunter. When you think of the Pharaoh, Yul Brynner comes to your mind. When you say Hannibal, an image of Tony Curtis flashes in your head. When you think of Cleopatra, Elizabeth Taylor pops in your mind. When you hear Samson, you think of Victor Mature. It is no coincidence that all of these great people are being portrayed by Canaanites and Amorites. Now you can say that this is only entertainment, but this form of entertainment is obviously subliminal education. Because it is proven facts that all of these men and women were Nubians, but they make you think that they are not Nubians by feeding you with a bunch of lies. The media is nothing more than the Board of Education or the broader education of the malevolent beings. This is just another one of the Amorites' ways to propagate their supremacy and teach you to hate yourself, so that you will do anything to be in his image. However, what you keep overlooking is the fact that, even if you try to talk and walk like them, hang out with them, listen to their music, or you can even bleach your skin, they still aren't going to accept you. Right, Michael? You will still be just another Tom to them. Nubian people need to wake up and stop trying to live in the image of the beast. They try to make everybody an Amorite. If you haven't noticed, the picture of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gets lighter and lighter as the years go by. Soon he will be a staunch Amorite. Even Aunt Jemima from Aunt Jemima Pancakes has transformed from a rag-wearing maid suit. Now she has a perm, and in due time she will look like Brooke Shields. Since Michael Jackson has changed his appearance, he has become the pop singer Michael Jackson. Since childhood, Michael was considered a rhythm and blues singer. But now that he is no longer a black man, all of a sudden he is a pop singer. The impressions that your children get from watching you and others are lasting impressions. When children see someone who is a good example, like a person who works hard, or respects their elders and authority, having manners, neat and clean, helping others, and healthy, etc., a child immediately remembers these things and will eventually pick up these habits. The same goes for bad habits, such as using drugs, being abusive, or being disrespectful. When a child sees a person who lies, drinks alcohol, or sees you steal, these images are impressed upon their conscious and subconscious minds, meaning the child begins to think that these things are the right thing to do when in fact they are not, and this is what they do to Nubians. They always promote the bad image of the Nubian. When you see a commercial, they are always being arrogant, or the criminal. They are never the doctor who's saving someone's life. They are the drug addict or husband who beats his wife. When a Nubian man or woman does something great, you never see them promote it. It's always pushed under the rug, like it never happened. You'll see Marion Barry across the television smoking crack, and they showed it on every rotation. But you never see them promote the fact that Clinton smoked marijuana. They asked him about it and he gave the answer, and I quote, "I didn't inhale." They showed this for a minute and that was it. You'll see Magic Johnson with AIDS stamped across his forehead. But someone like Greg Louganis, an Amorite AIDS victim, who won the 1992 Olympics, after jumping in the water with other competitors, what if he urinated in the water? What if his saliva got into the water? What if he bumped his head and bled in the water, which could have been the cause of other people catching AIDS from the tainted water? But did you hear that plastered across the television screen? No, most people haven't even heard of the name Greg Louganis. The point I'm trying to make is you can replace them with the correct images. You can take away these negative images that they place into your child's mind. Help dispel these myths that all Nubians are either gangsters or drug dealers who don't work for a living. Because there are Nubians that have been and can be a positive influence to the youth. As long as you have the mark of the beast and live under the rule of the evil reptilian and accept his laws, you won't have any problems. The moment you start acknowledging who you are, the evil one will set out against you and say, persecute that person. Just because you are righteous, that is the sole purpose. The Nubians who are running around the streets smoking crack, selling drugs, prostituting themselves, they don't bother them. You've seen neighborhoods where there are open crack houses and you ask yourself, why don't they just come in and close the place down? They tell you, we don't want the crack users, we want the crack pushers. But if you arrest all the users, the pushers will come out because that is who is supporting them. They don't want them. They persecute you for one reason and one reason only, and that is righteousness. And I will give you a perfect example of persecution for righteousness' sake. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had a righteous heart. He meant well in everything he was doing, and you or nobody else can deny that, correct? You may not agree with his doctrine or everything he taught, but he had a good heart and he meant well. What did they do to him? They killed him anyway. Now, Malcolm X on the other hand, was totally against everything they were about. He spoke bluntly against them. But for what he believed, he also was sincere and had a good heart. What did they do to him? They killed him too. So now what's the reason for killing these two totally opposite Nubian leaders? Because they were Nubian? No, he killed them for righteous name's sake. Because they were getting too many Nubians to wake up. He kills just because you have submitted to the will of the Most High and have become righteous, or by submitting to Jesus or Yahweh, or Jehovah or even Jah. He'll kill a Rastafarian, he'll kill anybody. He does not want to see you serving anything other than him. Revelation 13:12-17 tells you that he wants you to serve him. Most Nubians, believe it or not, are serving him in one way or the other by trying to look like him, by emulating him, and that is his greatest desire. That you will turn away from yourselves and idolize him, worship him and get the mark of prostrating to him on your heads, the mark of the beast instead of the mark of righteousness. That's why he created sun tanning pills and lotion, ultraviolet lights which darken their complexion, not to mention some of them live under these machines trying to be Nubian, and silicone implants which enlarges the breasts, thighs, and buttocks. For years they teased you about your full lips, calling you bubble lips and many other derogatory names. Now they are the ones who are having silicone injections in their lips just so that they can look more beautiful. Take it from me, they are well aware of the fact that black is beautiful. Now you do to your faces what Napoleon did to the statues in Egypt. He went through knocking off your noses to hide your blackness. You better stop trying to live in the image of the beast. He is from a degenerate cursed seed. There is no life for him after this world, but if you live righteously in the way of the Most High, you have been promised paradise. Why throw it all away to follow in the footsteps of the evil reptilian? So those who follow the evil one, will drink from the intoxicant of Theos's punishment, which will be a hell for trying to be like the beast, blended from the intoxicant filtered in a glass of Theos punishment to taste hell, and will be tortured by fire and sulfur of hell that resides in the breast of man. It is not an actual place where you go. Hell is a state of mind. It is what you make it. Before the holy agreeable Elohim and before the Lamb who is a Messiah, not the Messiah. And there will be smoke of their pain, ascending forever and ever, and it won't rest, not in the day and not in the shadow hour. The pain will never stop. This is for those who prostrate to the beast and his picture of the pale Jebusite, Jesus, and who take the mark of his name, calling themselves Christians, propagating that the Messiah Jesus is their personal savior, when in fact they do not follow any of the laws that Jesus followed. Christians don't dress like Jesus dressed, Christians don't receive a circumcision like Jesus did, and Christians don't pray like Jesus prayed. Here, this is the Holy One's patience, those who guard the commands of Theos, and had faith in the Messiah Jesus. The coming of the final Messiah is a very controversial subject among the world religions. Some say the physical Jesus of 2,000 years ago will return himself in the same body, and that's not true. That would be reincarnation. Reincarnation is a belief of Hinduism which is taught by Cleophas. Each denomination has their own interpretation of when the Messiah will come, where he will appear and who he will be coming for. The Jewish world recognized that the Messiah, HaMashiach, will come at the end of the world out of Jerusalem. The Christian world recognizes he will return in the form of their rapture, as God. The Orthodox Sunni Muslims are totally confused about the return of the Messiah because they are too wrapped up in worshipping and exalting Muhammad. The Nation of Islam believes W.D. Far Muhammad is the Allah in the flesh, the Mahdi and the Messiah, and the Ahmadiyya sect believe Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani to be the Mahdi and the Messiah. the Holy Tabernacle Ministries recognizes that he will return after the Mahdi and Reformer as Yeshua bar Daud, which means the Savior, Son of the Beloved. And I, John, son of Zebedee and Salome, heard the messenger Malachi Zadok's loud from the Orion skies saying to me, Write, Blessed are the dead who die for the Master, such as Amirul Mu'minin Ali, his two sons Hassan and Hussein, Abdullahi and Al-Haadi Abdur Rahman al-Mahdi, who all gave their lives in the way of Eli. From now on, John's, son of Zebedee and Salome, time to the end, says the soul who is the Comforter, Muhammad. He was also called the Spirit of Truth, that they are to rest from their labors once they conquer the evil reptilian and once they raise the 144,000 and the Nubians all over the world. Our job will be over and their works do follow them. Then I, John, son of Zebedee and Salome, saw, and when I did there was a white cloud, and over the cloud was one sitting, the Anunnaki Elohim Malachi Zadok, who resembled in appearance to the adopted son of the human being, Miriam, daughter of Imran and Hannah from the tribe of Judah. He looked like the Messiah Jesus, but they are not one and the same. And on his head was a golden crown, a symbol of authority because he is the ruler of Malakut, the realm of the Elohim, and head priest of the ancient mystic order of Melchizedek, and in his hand a sharp sickle symbolic of the gathering of the 144,000. And another messenger, Raphael, son of Wakabiel and Fikriel, came out of the tabernacle crying with a supreme voice to him that sat on the cloud, who was the messenger Malachi Zadok, Thrust in your sickle, and reap the 144,000 holy ones, for the time is come, the year 2030 AD, for you to reap, because the harvest of the planet Earth is ripe and they are ready to be taken up. So Theho sent the one messenger Malachi Zadok sitting on the cloud with his sickle to gather the 144,000 as an Anunnaki Elohim in the form of Dr. Malachi Z. York, to the planet Earth, in order that they may give birth to the 144,000 holy ones, and the planet Earth was reaped. The Anunnaki Elohim Malachi Zadok proceeded with the job given to him by the Most High. And another messenger Anunnaki Elohim named Israel, Enki, son of Anu and Id, the one appointed to collect the souls of man, being called the Angel of Death, came out of the tabernacle which is in the Orion skies, and with him also was a sharp sickle prepared to gather the people of the earth. And another Anunnaki Elohim, who was named Halel, son of Shachar and Milita, also called Zara, Samael, Nakash, Kanaz, Azazel and many more titles, came out from the altar located in the middle of the skies with the Holy of Holy Scriptures, called the Mother of Scriptures, located in Ilion, which had authority over fire, being the ruler of hell, and cried with a supreme voice to him the messenger Israel Zadok that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in your sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine, symbolic of the descendants of Kadmon, Zakar, Adam, of the planet Earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. The seed of Kadmon, represented by the black or red grapes, have been promised paradise if you are successful in raising the 144,000 purified ones, who will be harvested by the Anunnaki Malachi Zadok. The disagreeable Anunnaki Halel will request from the Angel of Death Israel, Enki, those grapes which will be apportioned to him, the white grapes of the vine and the red or black that have gone bad, such as those who didn't remain faithful. At least half will go to the evil reptilian. This does not mean just those who have left the tabernacle of the Most High. It also includes those who, though they are still inside the tabernacle of the Most High, they have given themselves to the evil one. In fact, some of them proclaim to be righteous, but it is their very self-righteousness that will take them to hell. And the Angel of Death, Israel, thrust his sickle into the planet Earth and gathered the vine, the followers of the evil one and his seed, the cursed Caucasu, of the planet Earth, and cast it into a great winepress where the souls of man will be squeezed from their bodies of the punishment of Theos. And the winepress, which is the place of judgment of the soul, was treaded outside of the city of Sudan, and blood of the martyrs, Ansars of Sudan, in the year 1970 AD, came out of the winepress up until the horse bridle, by the space of 1,600, which is equivalent to the slave trade of 1600 AD. There is but a few years on the clock until the end of your bondage. All those who wish to be a part of those who will be free of the spell must wake up and recognize the truth.